What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 56 of Lyon Live, here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Today is going to be a shorter episode. I intended for it to be a longer one. If you're watching this the day it goes up, you probably understand why I've not had much time this evening. If you're watching in the future, let me tell you, Liverpool have just beaten Barcelona 4-0 in the Champions League semi-final, second leg to turn around a 3-goal deficit. I was going to record a video straight after the match finished. Obviously, Liverpool lost the first leg 3-0. I thought, doesn't, really matter that much. Like, the game's going to be over. It's not going to be an exciting game. I'll just, as soon as it finishes, I'll have time to record. I have now sat for about the last hour just walking around my house in a state of shock. So today's episode's going to be a bit all over the place. I think we're just going to do 3 matches today because it is just so late for me and I've got to be up for work. But I do want to get you guys a daily dose, of course, of Lyon. So yeah, today we're going to do the games against Caen, Marseille and Lille. And actually, Marseille and Lille, we absolutely have to win those games. We've been atrocious lately. I mean, you can see here a loss against Bordeaux, a loss against Guingamp, a loss against Strasbourg, all away from home. So that Marseille game, being away from home, does fill me with a little bit of dread. Anyway, our first game against Caen is actually the team who are bottom of the league. So with that in mind, we are going to do some rotation. I mean, you can see here how hard we've been hit by injuries, because even when I select the rotated 11 that we have, there's like 5 or 6 players just not available for selection for this first game. Hopefully some of them are going to recover. You can see here Fakir's signed a new contract. Anaba, who we're looking to get rid of, has had an offer for him for nothing. He can go. Lopez signs a new deal. I mean, the big one there is Fakir really signing a new deal. We needed him to sign that. He has now agreed to it. So, yeah, we can be pretty happy about that, I feel. Mendy's not happy. He wants a new contract. Fakir, can you have a word with him? No. I mean, how much is Mendy going to want a week? That's the question, isn't it? Let's put him to rotation and see if that lowers his demand slightly. He's currently on 38 grand. I'll offer him 50 grand and see what he says. He wants 84. Oh, that is way more than I want to pay, and he doesn't really have much room for negotiation. Even 65 is more than I'd want. See, I knew he was going to reject that. That is a bit of a pain. It is something that we are going to experience here with our kind of success over the last season, winning the Champions League and the League last year. Regardless of how successful or unsuccessful this season is, players are going to want wage rises and we are going to struggle. De Jong is now out for 3 to 4 months. I mean, the game is trying desperately to drag down my mood here, I feel like. But yeah, one of our star wingers, pretty much out for the rest of the season. A broken foot for him. That is really bad news because actually we might have needed him for this upcoming game. Granan and Lala sign new contracts, good for us to lock down, 2 of our best backup players. Both French as well, which is nice, to longer term deals. You can see we are being linked a little bit with Gabriel Jesus. Now, we have been looking at him. Would I like to sign him? I think I quite would. I think I quite good. Apparently, he could be getting a new deal. I mean, I do quite like the look of him. I do quite like... Can we ask the board to sign? Or we can't. Board, can you do it? I can't stress how important... Okay. I mean, I've had the board sign me a few players over the years. Maybe that is a stretch too far to ask them to sign Gabriel Jesus. You can see, looking at our balance, £64 million in the bank. We are very, very well off when it comes to our finances. In fact, oddly well off, to be honest. Like, we're in a really good spot. Anyway, today's game against Caen, as you can see, we've got a few issues here when it comes to lack of fitness and such. So we're going to deal with this as best we can. Lucas Romero is going to have to come in at centre mid. Trincao is not fit enough to play out on the right, but Bertrand Traoré is. Danny Olmo is struggling a little bit. So with that in mind... With that in mind, I'm actually going to swap him with Aouar, just because I feel like Aouar is a little more complete than Olmo, if I'm not mistaken. Olmo's a bit more of a natural playmaker with a lot more attacking ability, so it kind of just makes sense for Aouar to play the deeper midfield role. He's just a little bit better suited to it. So that's the change we'll make there. We'll drop Aouar in a little bit deeper. Moise Kean isn't going to be able to last the whole game. I mean, look how many injuries we've got in the attacking department as well. They really are adding up here. We are going to need to have Wallace on the bench. We have a backup centre-back, and then... I'm going to put a Nader on the bench, aren't I, for Gabels. And then I've got one more slot, and I'm still really struggling for players. You know what? I think we'll give the last spot to Kone. Moise Keane, how's your fitness? Fitness test can last 75 minutes. I don't really want to risk him. We're playing the team who are bottom, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a problem. But we're gonna start Tizzy and see what Tizzy can do. DJ is also available, so actually, you know what? We'll have DJ instead of Kone instead of Moise Keane. You know what? We'll have him instead of Kone, I think, because Kone's never really going to come on for us. Whereas if we do want to throw on a few extra strikers, maybe we will call upon DJ. But no, we're going to go with Tizzy to lead the line. The rest of the team is fairly standard in terms of the players. We are playing our rotated 11. We're at home for this game. We're playing Caen, who are bottom of the league. I feel like we'll go with the direct attacking style of play to start and see how it suits us. Worth noting, Nader is getting very, very familiar now with the complete forward role. He already has the attributes to do that role for us. And of course, he has been trained in it and he has been playing in it for us this year. So yeah, good to see him continuing to improve there. Of course, it's a role that I think he's going to be ready-made to play. He has such good mentals to play that position and that role for us that it's kind of a little bit of a no-brainer. Anyway, we'll see if he can put in the performances on the pitch. But, man, I'm going to try not to talk about the Liverpool game too much. But as a Liverpool fan, like, I went into the game with no hope. I want to talk about the game. I hope you guys don't mind. I don't have any other outlet other than Twitter to vent. And to be fair, on Twitter, I've just been kind of going mad. I feel like perhaps my mental breakdown has been well portrayed by how just all over the place my Twitter feed has been with just random tweets to do with the game. Like, I can't quite get my head around it. But, I mean, yeah, as I was going to say, like, going into the game, I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, if we score in the first 15 minutes, I'll start to believe. But we kind of had to score early. And just the way the whole game played out for the last, half an hour after Liverpool got the third goal and then the fourth goal with about 20 minutes left, I was just... I almost, turned it off, the game, because I was struggling to watch it. The nerves of knowing, it's the hope that kills you, that hope, but still knowing that, Barcelona just need one goal. One mistake, like the mistake we've just done there, was all it was going to take for them. Man, Caen have scored with their first shot of the game and we've had 78% of the ball. I mean, there's only been 4 minutes gone. I don't even want to watch the highlight. It was a counter-attack. We are playing the more conservative... Oh, wait, we're not playing the more conservative system. Let's go to the more conservative system to avoid being hit on the counter. I feel like I have been a bit guilty of that this year, playing maybe the direct system too often. Against bigger teams, I feel like it serves us quite well, but against teams that are looking to hit us on the break, maybe recognise that they don't have as much quality, I feel like it's undone us more than anything else. I feel like in those kind of games, we should probably play the more positive style of play. Anyway, we're going to make the switch to it now. Hopefully, it just kind of works out for us. As St. Maximin brings the ball forward. Now with Lucas Romero. Danny Olmo. Nice little dink of play to Moreno. He goes inside to St. Maximin. Lovely little build-up play. Give and go from Moreno. Crosses it in. Falls to Aouar, who hits it. I mean, that is a lovely goal. Yes, perhaps the way it got cleared and fell to Aouar isn't the cleanest. But the build-up play itself down that left-hand side was just top-notch. And it's the second goal of the season for him. Playing that deeper role for us today, and well, immediately it's paid off for us. I'm going to claim that I'm a tactical genius. One touch to get it out of his feet. Second touch, he hits it. Keeper doesn't even move. Lovely, lovely effort from him to find the back of the net there. Hopefully, we're going to continue the way that we've kind of responded, I guess, to their initial goal by, getting another one. We might have a chance here. Aouar, the goal scorer, to take the set piece, whips it in, cleared away. Markovic is there. And he strokes it home to overturn the 1-goal deficit after 5 minutes. And within 20 minutes of them scoring, Caen now find themselves 2 goals down to 1. Lovely little finish by Markovic, by the way. He strokes it in on his left foot into that bottom corner, wheels away in jubilation. Can we score again from a set piece? Could we get 2 in 2 minutes? It's whipped in, it's headed clear. Markovic can't quite get there. They're going to be looking to hit us on the break now. Slimani, I assume that's former Leicester man Slimani, switches over to this left-hand side. Can we stop the ball coming in? We can't. That is just... They've had 2 clear-cut chances, 2 shots, 2 counter-attacks. They've scored them both. Not the way I expected the game to pan out, having got 2 goals. and gone 2-1 up. They hit us on the break. Atrocious defending again. I feel like our defending has been just a little all over the place. They've got 4 players on the back post for that cross. Very, very weird positioning by them. But to be fair, it worked out for them. So I perhaps can't knock them too much. The fact they've had 2 shots and they've both gone in is slightly aggravating. I'm not going to pretend it's not. We've got another corner here. We've scored from one corner. We've also conceded from one of our own corners. What's going to happen this time? Anada's just missed a sitter. A golden opportunity. He has to finish that. He's kicked it straight into the keeper's hands. And what it looks like at half-time, barring a late goal, which we're not going to see, it's going to be 2-2 here, which is significantly worse than what I was expecting and hoping for. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. Bertrand Traoré out on the right hasn't played that great. Moise Kean coming back from injury. I'm going to bring him in for Anada, who's not at the best of games. Hopefully, he's not going to aggravate his injury. Of course, he did take a fitness test. He could play 75 minutes, is what I was told. We're going to give him a run out of 45 minutes here. Hopefully, he's going to be okay for this. The fact they've had 2 just really kind of clinical counter-attacks, and that's been what's got them into this, is aggravating to say the least. Why can I not click on shouts? Please help me. Right, I've probably got to bring in Fekir here. I'm going to bring him in for Olmo, and I'm going to take off Bertrand Traoré for Kingsley Coman. The cavalry is arriving late to the battle with 20 minutes left as well. We're going to stick with the possession system, but I'm going to go more attacking. Maybe look to commit just a few men further up the field here for the last 10 minutes. We need a goal. We need something, you know. Part of me would have gone direct attacking kind of style of play here, but given the fact we conceded playing that earlier, I don't want to. But at the same time, the time is just trickling away. Maybe one last chance with 10 seconds left. Cleared away as far as Markovic. Can Fekir put in a ball of quality? He whips it in, headed away, and they steal away a point. We are struggling right now. We are not playing well, and with that, I think Monaco might even go ahead of us with an even amount of games played. Indeed, they do. 1 point ahead of us. Of course, board expectation is win the league. Media prediction is finish second. I mean, it's very close between ourselves and Monaco when you look at the goals scored and goals conceded. But, unfortunately, the situation we found ourselves in last year with PSG really isn't reoccurring this year. And we've already lost more games than last season. We're already guaranteed to end up with less points than last season with 13 games to spare. In terms of, I guess, my thoughts on things here, I mean, I'm not happy. I'm going to take a team meeting. I'm just wondering if I should try upgrading my facilities. Let's do it. Why not? We're going to have, I was thinking about the fact that we are going to have Regen Day coming up sometime soon. We might as well try and get everything upgraded related to that. But, no, I want to talk to my players. I want to have a meeting if we can, because we've not been good enough. And, well, I'm glad to see they agree, and we need to kick on here. We've got Marseille in our next game. Away from home. Bit of a dilemma in terms of how I want to play. As I've mentioned, you know, just earlier, I feel like we actually play better against the bigger teams where we, you know, feel more comfortable playing our direct style of play. I feel like we've been a little too susceptible, perhaps, to counter-attacks this year. I feel like one area for improvement is quite possibly the wing-back areas of the pitch. Eder Militao's fine, but Mendy at left-back, don't get me wrong, I don't mind Mendy. Just don't know if he's that kind of Champions League winning calibre left-back that we really need. I mean, let's be honest, when you look at our squad, how the hell did we win the Champions League last year? Like, that was a crazy achievement. Mendy's asking for a new contract. I'm going to say we can't afford it right now, and he's fine with that. Excellent. Everything is fine. I'm going to just quickly, while we're here, we're going to rest all these players. There's a few who are injured, but they can have a rest as well, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be 4th versus 3rd. This is quite a big game for us, really. If we just look at the table, Marseille, they're 5 points behind us. A win here would extend our lead over them to 8 points with 12 games remaining. You'd expect that to be enough to guarantee us, you know, a top 3 finish this year. Of course, the top 4, because of the fact the league coefficient rose, do all get Champions League football. But I don't know. I feel like we absolutely need to win this if we want to stay in the title race. Really, we can't afford to slip up anymore. Next episode, we're going to have Juventus and PSG to play. So really, today's game's against Marseille in fourth, and then Lille, who played incredibly last year, but really weren't that great previously. You would expect Lille to, be an easier game, but it never really has worked out like that, has it? Lenglet has announced that he's happy to stay at the club. Liverpool are no longer interested in him. His contract comes to a close in 2.5 years. I would love to get him on a new contract. He wants £100,000 a week, and he wants a wage rise after international, a certain number of international appearances. How much am I willing to pay him? I feel like between him and Wallace, they are two of our strongest players. And the fact he's a young French player, well, he's only 25. If I could get his wages down to £80,000, I'd be a lot happier, but I feel like we're going to struggle. Equally, with some of the players we have been struggling to keep hold of, I don't want to blow a chance to renew his contract here, especially with all the interest we've had in him lately. I'll go to 90. If he rejects it, okay, he's accept 90 is more than I wanted to pay him. I'll be honest, but it's a decent little extension to his contract until 2024 at least. So going into today's game against Marseille, Gabels is going to be unavailable, as is Depay. Let's take off Depay. We're not going to actually start Olmo out on the wing, but we'll have him on the bench. Gabels, have you taken a fitness test? Not ready to be selected. Moise Kean is still recovering. Given how Tizzy's been a little bit hit and miss lately, we're actually going to go with DJ, I think, up top for today's game. Bit of a big chance for him to maybe shine on the big stage. The rest of the team kind of picks itself here. We're going to go with a controlling style of play. Let's hope that we can get an overdue good result here. We really need one of these. I am half tempted to play the more attacking 4-2-3-1 variant. I feel like Marseille are a team who aren't going to look to hit us on the break like other teams that we play, perhaps. The lower teams actually away from home has been the games that we struggled with, games where we've perhaps, not broken through and then been caught on the counter-attack. With that in mind, I'm going to stick with the control possession system, at least to start things today. We'll obviously see how the game pans out. If we're struggling to keep hold of the ball, maybe we will switch to the more direct kind of pressing style of play. Anyway, St. Maximin here whips in the ball. Sutar heads it clear. Only as far as Sanson. I mean, this is the pointless highlight to start a game, isn't it? Okay, maybe it's not. Lenglet, we've just offered him £90,000 a week. He's missed a crucial header. Fortunately, Lopez, who has signed a new contract himself, is there to bail us out. Thank you very much, Lopez. Doing us a massive, massive favour at the back there. Fekir with a set piece hits it. Mandanda parries it away pretty unconvincingly, let's be honest. Was it over the line? No. No is the answer. PSG leading in their game against Montpellier. I just don't see a way that they're going to slip up enough for us to now even have a chance at winning the league. Even if we win all our remaining games, it's probably not going to be enough. I feel like right now we've got to recalibrate our expectations for the season. We're still in the Champions League. Granted, we did draw 2-2 at home against Juventus in the first leg of the first knockout round. We are in both domestic cup competitions. If we could get second in the league, it would be disappointing having won the league last year, given the fact PSG spent £200 million. I can't exactly be shocked at the fact that they are, pushing us way harder than they did last year. Although, to be fair, last year for us was just an exceptional season as well. Let's not make any mistake about that. It was top draw. Anyway, weirdly, a draw here wouldn't necessarily be the worst result, but given the fact we drew previously, desperate to get a win here. We've had a lot more of the ball than them, and actually we've got maybe a half chance here. I was thinking about going to the more direct style of play. Maybe that's premature. Mendy whips in. Koeman's there. How has he saved that? That is a nutty save by Mandanda. Can we discuss that? You do not get good saves in the match engine. That was one of the rare ones, which was actually just an incredible stop. Don't know how he's got across to that. And Fekir's offside. I mean, what a stop. I don't even know what to tell you. That is nutty. Got a corner here. Fekir whips it in. Mandanda collects. got hit on the counter previously. Well, we did also score from a corner, I guess, but last game we did get caught out in this kind of situation. Let's see if we can be a bit better here. It's just one big ball down the middle. Maya's through. He shoots twice. Lopez stops it twice. It hits the woodwork at the third time of asking. You know, see, part of me's now tempted to go to the more pressing style of play. I am going to go to the more direct attack. You can see we've had 62% of the ball away from home. That is so commanding. Just not quite creating enough for my liking. I mean, if we want to create something now right on cue, that would be useful. Toussaint switches the play to Eder Militao. Dinks it in back post. Oh my gosh, Saint Maximin, you little hero. Right, we're going to stick on the control style of play. I feel like we're better off just controlling the ball like we have been rather than pushing for a second here. But nice build-up play. Saint Maximin, he's not had the craziest of seasons, but with Depay out injured, we've needed him to step up, and he has stepped up here with a huge goal. If I'm not mistaken, he did a pretty good job against Juventus. I'm trying to remember if he scored against them. I feel like he played a role against Juventus for us. He's done good though. DJ's been atrocious up top. Another chance maybe to bring Moise Kean in, just help with his fitness. Coman's not been the craziest player in the world. I'm going to bring in Danny Olmo. Perhaps an unusual change out on the right-hand side, but Danny Olmo, from our own experience, has proven to be pretty good at getting goals in games on off the bench, and I wouldn't mind trying to get a second goal here. Let's see what we can do. Fekir crosses it in back post. Luis Gustavo heads it clear, only as far as the devil we've been speaking of, Danny Olmo. Where are you going, Danny? He's going away from goal. He's scared. Ndombele now with it. Toussaint to Fekir. Lovely build-up play to Ndombele, who keeps his run going. Great initial stop. Can we get the rebound? We cannot. Man, Mandanda in goal is on a 7.2. I mean, he's been incredible. He has kept Marseille in this repeatedly. Fortunately, it's not been particularly pretty. Looks like we are going to get a 1-0 win here. Not really a classic, but given our recent away form, given the calibre of opposition, I will absolutely take that to the bank and back. 1-0. 1-0. That'll do us. Unfortunately, you can see PSG and Monaco both won as well. So, although we put ourselves clear, I guess, of Marseille, which is always going to be nice to see, we aren't in a crazily good position, really. Anyway, you can see a few of our loanees playing. Ferreira actually picked up a goal for Brest, which is good to see. Durand still playing in goal for Lyon. Every time I look at this guy, I get so excited. He's going to be such a good goalkeeper. Hopefully, you know, our number one of the future. We do now have a week to recover till the Lille game, so hopefully Moise Kean will be back. Gabels might also be worth a shot on the bench, if not starting, although match sharpness could be a little bit of a problem for him. You can see here, Gabel's back in 5 to 10 days. Francisco Trincao 6 days to 2 weeks. Depay still potentially out for up to 4 weeks. So he's struggling a little bit. Obviously, you can see our analysis here. I mean, Militao made 6 mistakes, but he got the crucial assist and he got the clean sheet, which is what matters. I would love to get someone of Militao's quality at left back. I love Mendy. Mendy's not a bad left back, don't get me wrong at all, but I mean, when you compare the calibre of the two players, there's a little bit of a world of difference, isn't there, between the two of them. Mendy has had some pretty big interest in him as well, so if the right offer came in, I know he's, you know, French player, very exciting, but I just feel like there's better players out there, like Alberto Moreno. No, not like Moreno, but I think you get my point. I'm just curious, in terms of French players, what left backs are there? You know, if we were to sell him, is there a left back that we can maybe bring in who would be good for us? Someone like Kazawa got sold apparently by Monaco, which is interesting. If I'd known that, I might have even gone in for him. Not by Monaco, sorry, by PSG. He got sold by Monaco a little while ago, to be fair to him. He's now ended up at PSG. Masuaku, I swear he's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Is that like secondary nationality on him, or am I getting confused? Okay, it is secondary. I think in FIFA it's his primary nationality. I think that's where the confusion is. Lucas Digne, is he requested to leave? See, he could be an interesting left-back option. He actually looks very, very good at left-back as well. How does he compare to Mendy? I am curious. I mean, he's just better, isn't he? Maybe not quite so good defensively, but going forward, he definitely is a little bit better. Just a bit more experience about him. I could be tempted. How much? 26 million. It's not quite within our budget, so I'm almost tempted to ask the board to sign him. I know that might seem mad. See, I think we might be able to sell Mendy for more than 26 million in the summer. Man, I really am tempted to ask the board to sign him. What's his form been like for Arsenal? He hasn't actually played for them this year. Who have Arsenal been playing at left back? I'm really confused now. Because he looks really good. Who have you... Oh, you've signed Alex Telles as well. Why would you sign Alex Telles? Is it Telles or Telles? Answers on a postcard. Why would you sign him and Lucas Digne? Then you've got Desiglio as well. In case you needed another fullback who could play left back. The only thing that's put me off about Lucas Digne is the fact he's just not played a great deal. At the same time, he's a very, very, very good French left back. Like, we've got the money in the bank, so even if we were to ask for it, it wouldn't be like a big risk really to ask the board to sign him. I'm just worried about other teams coming in for him or him resolving his unhappiness. Who is the French national team left back? It's Benjamin Mendy, of course it is. Somehow, I don't think we can quite compete with Benjamin Mendy. Lucas Hernandez, the other guy there. Of course, he moved to PSG. How does he compare to Digne? See, I'm not going to lie. Hernandez is the kind of player who I would have quite liked to have signed to play left back. I'm just curious. What are there any other French players who are transfer listed? Let's take a look. Any big French players transfer listed? Dembele's still transfer listed at Chelsea. Digne's transfer listed. Capoue getting on a little bit. There's not any to be super excited about, other than Dembele, who I'm a little bit perplexed as to why he's transfer listed, but I guess he just wants out. He's looked pretty good since he's gone to them. How are Chelsea doing in the league? They're 6th at the moment. That is not good for them. I feel like we're worrying about the transfers too much. We need to establish where we're going to be in the league next year. Nick Turns has gained French citizenship, which is good. He believes he's good enough to play for France. Nick, my friend, that is the optimism and the boldness that I expect. Look how much he's improved. He's only 16. He's going to be a... Maybe we just get him in at left back. Heads up about Moreno. He's struggling with being out of the team. Fekir, can you solve this? He really wants to play. I need you to prove that you can do it. I want you to be patient. If you're patient, Alberto, you might get some chances. I mean, how does Moreno actually compare to Digne? See, Moreno, people question me, like, Jack, why do you play Moreno so much? Look how blooming good he is in Football Manager. Even if we compare him to Mendy, I don't think I think he might actually be better than Mendy. Mendy kind of became first choice last year out of the fact that he was in slightly better form. But actually this year you could make an argument for either of them to be our starting left back. I feel like Digne's the kind of transfer that would make sense if, and it's kind of a slightly big if, but if we were to, have one of our two existing left backs try and force their way out the team. See, Gravenberch here playing for Porto's under-19s in the Champions League. I assume it's the Champions League. He's doing pretty blooming good, the 18-year-old. Look at him. He'll be a player who should be in the first team next year, you'd imagine. Man, we've got too many good young players. It's not a bad problem to have. A true first world problem, you'd probably argue. Too many good players who are young to make it work, but we'll do our best. You can see here, Lille are playing midweek, so we're actually going to be playing them when they're a little bit tired, which could work in our favour. They just lost to Toulouse as well, which they are going to be pretty annoyed about, I imagine, particularly because Toulouse did have a man sent off there. But yeah, we are kind of getting towards the business end of the season. It always feels like with the French season, like it kind of ends quite quickly. Maybe that's a weird sentence to say. It just feels like it kind of wraps up rather abruptly, and particularly if we were to get knocked out of the Champions League, suddenly there's only a few league games left. But anyway, let's focus on the game against Lille here. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. That was awful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's nothing that I can say to justify my actions there. Auger is not doing well in training. That is concerning. Coman's improving, which is good. Auger, why are you always... This guy is like just doesn't like to improve that much. He doesn't want to practice his strength anymore. You know what? No more weightlifting sessions at the gym, my friend. I'm going to let you off. I did notice on the training report, Moreno, not the best training from you. You don't want to talk to me anymore. Fair enough. Olmo's done well in training, which is good. I am a little bit concerned for Olmo as to how I'm ever going to fit him in a team with Shadas in the team. Because Shadas is just insane. Olmo might be a player we move on, although they're both on relatively low wages. Olmo's still got 3 years left on his current deal. Actually, looking at it, Shadas only has 2 years. I would quite like to renew his contract now, if he wants to, before he asks for a big wage rise, because I think he is going to be a massive, massive player for us next year. And I kind of want to just lock him down for the long-term future. Hopefully he's on board with that. Of course he is. Why am I saying hopefully? Never in doubt. Gravenberch as well. His contract's up in 4 years. His contract's fine. Ferreira. I'm not too worried about Kanate's contract's up at the end of next season. Definitely want to be renewing that. He wants a few little cheeky wage rises there. I see what you're trying to sneak in, Mr. Agent. I see what you're trying to sneak in. Let's just have a look. Go back to the drawing board here a little bit. I can give him £40,000 a week because he is going to be. I'm pretty confident he's going to be our backup centre back next year alongside Markovic. For like Kanate and Markovic at centre back with Wallace, Lenglet, and Militao as kind of our back 5. That's what I'm thinking either way, and then we'll also have Gnan on as well, just for the ultimate squad depth. I mean, actually, centre-back, when you think about it, is the kind of position where if we did get a good offer for Wallace, maybe, or well, I say Wallace, not Wallace, Lenglet or Wallace, or either, I guess. But if the right offer came in, maybe we'd, make it work. You can see here, Bourg-en-Bresse, 0-1. They actually had a failed bid by a takeover last year. That would have been really interesting if that had happened. They have just had a takeover happen. A local businessman has come in. I'm curious, have there been any big takeovers in the league? I feel like the easiest way to spot a big takeover is just to look through the divisions to see if there's one team that's been making all the signings. Let's be honest, who doesn't like a big tycoon save game? I feel like there must be a way to filter for I don't know, teams who have been taken over by tycoons, but I just don't know where that thing exists, if it does exist. You can see here the 4th tier is full of all the reserve teams. So currently the team in 8th are the team most likely to get promoted up a division because of the way the rules work. A little bit bizarre that, but that is the French lower leagues of football for you. Anyway, today's game, I think we can probably go pretty close to our strongest 11. Can we? Gabels is still recovering. That's not what I was expecting. I thought he'd be fit enough. Back in 3 days. Gabels can play. Moise Keane can play as well. Trincao, probably not quite ready. We'll give St. Maximin the nod again. He's been pretty good in his last few games. Mendy, not been great at left back. Moreno's not that happy. Let's bring him in. Lenglet as well. Last 5 games, disappointing. We're going to bring in Markovic. Why not? Lille struggling a little bit. Gives us a chance, really. Looking at it, we have Juventus pretty soon. We'll have to maybe rest the players after this game. Of course, I always get caught out a little bit. When you have a game on the 28th of a month and then you have a game on the 3rd of a month, you think, oh, well, that's like a week. Nope, it's February. It's a 28-day month and it always catches me out. And I always get a bit confused by February. I just don't like the month February, guys. It just annoys me. I couldn't tell you why. Just the whole 28-day thing, it just wants to be different for the sake of it. And then every 4 years it decides it's going through a phase. Anyway, let's focus on the game here and now instead of getting annoyed at months. Because months just work like months. I'm going to go to our more conservative system here. despite the fact we're at home and we are playing against a team you'd expect us to do well against. I am a little bit kind of scared of being hit on the break. It's been a common trend this year. I am wondering if maybe I need to look at my centre mid roles and how maybe we can make ourselves a little stronger at the back. I feel like very often in games we concede more than we'd like to admit through just being hit on the counter-attack. With both our conservative system and our direct system, maybe something to look to address. Although, at the same time, it wasn't a problem last year, which always leaves me in two minds. You know, you kind of feel like, man, we're getting hit on the counter a lot. Actually, that didn't really happen last year. And then you start to overthink things. You know, is the fact we're getting hit on the counter this year because we won the league last year? Teams do play more conservatively against us than last year. And as a result, we're getting caught out more. You know, our teams just, you know, knowing that that's our kryptonite, that we can be exposed on the break. I don't know. It's always a, you know, a tricky one. You know, you don't really want to change things for the sake of it, especially if you feel like you're just getting unlucky. Because that's the thing, that like we know that this system and the systems that we use here at Lyon, they can work and they do work. But you know, when you start to struggle a little bit, you kind of get caught in that mindset of, well, should I start changing my tactics now? It worked before, maybe it will work again. Maybe it's just some bad luck. I tend to feel like that and think like that rather than start panicking about potential changes. Although, as I said, kind of in the back of my mind, the centre mids is a cause for concern. Either way, let's not worry about that here and now. Moise Keane, he's back from injury and he's popped it with a nice little header. Coman with the ball in, he's leapt like a salmon. And we'll take it. I feel like I say leapt like a salmon too much. What other animals leap? Gazelle? Gazelle's leap. Why is gazelle the first animal that's come to my head? That is a shocking miss. Who was that? Name and shame them. Who was it? I feel like it was Wallace at the back post. It was not the greatest effort in the world. And that's probably a little bit of an understatement. It was bloody awful. Fakir whips it in. Wallace back post heads it back across. Coman is there. 2 goals up before half-time. I feel like we can relax a little bit. This is not going to be a repeat of the games that we've had where we have been struggling just a little bit. Coman squeezes it in. We'll take that. Let's hope now that we can kick on a little bit and see some more goals in the second half. That would be, I feel like ideal. Right. I mean, I'm going to go with that. I'm very pleased. I'm hoping that's not going to lead to complacency. I feel like last year I was a more angry manager. I was more shouty, you know, more expectant of my players. This year, I feel like I'm having to be just a bit more respectful of them all. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, Thiago Maia with the ball here. Plays it through to Seferovic. Madiba, I mean, it's a concern, isn't it, on the hour mark when they score like that. With that, I am going to make some changes. St. Maximin's been pretty disappointing. I'm going to bring in Aouar to play out on the left-hand side. I'm also going to bring in Lucas Romero for Ndombele. Romero's just a little bit more of a terrier. A little bit more of a crunching, tackling kind of player in the centre of the midfield. I feel like that's something that we might need a little bit of here just to see ourselves out in this game, if we may, for the last 33 minutes. Madiba threaded through. Medetatal probably should have tracked him a little bit better, you'd argue. Defensively just caught all out of shape. Let's see if we can reinstate our 2-goal lead. It's whipped back post for Kiers there. Can he get the rebound? Of course he can. Aouar with the ball from deep. On off the bench to deliver that. And well, signed, sealed and delivered. We get what is a good goal. And we'll take that. Fakir took 2 attempts. Although actually it's been given to Toussaint. Okay, my mistake. I thought Fakir scored the rebound of his effort. He didn't. I have to take it all back. Toussaint with the unlikely goal. Honestly, in 3D that looked like Fakir scored it to me. Maybe that's a testament to how tired I am. I'm just seeing things. Either way, you can see Monaco 3-2 up against Havre, which is not ideal. Not ideal. I would like to see Monaco slip up sooner rather than later so we can leapfrog them into second. Oh my god, don't do anything weird. The match engine, when you see a defender leave it and the keeper running out for it, it makes your heart skip a beat, doesn't it? We've all been there. Squeaky bum time commences. There is some turtle heading action. But anyway, could we get a fourth? That would eliminate any risk, any panic that I do have. Coman crosses it, back post. Keane's there. Oh my gosh, that would have been one hell of a finish on the volley. I'm going to take him off. He's played the recommended amount of football for him. We're going to bring in Gabels just to build up his match fitness as well. Our two leading men both been out for a little while with injury. It feels like a long time, really. Good to see them both back on the pitch playing for us. Neither of them, you know, contributing massively to today's game. I mean that in the nicest possible way. But equally, it might just take them a little bit of time just to hit the ground running and really get into things. And, well, we'll take that. 3-1 it finishes. I am very happy with the result, boys, and how that's played out. And considering how the first game of today's episode went, I feel like we've steadied the ship a little bit there with two, you know, games that could have been tricky that we've kind of come through good. Anyway, if I'm not mistaken, we're on the verge of a youth intake. It might happen before the Juventus game. It might happen next episode. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go forward here. We'll kind of spam continue. Just get to the Juventus game. I have a sneaking suspicion that the youth intake is actually going to be in a few weeks' time. So it'll be next episode. But you know what? We'll go to the Juventus game. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, well, you'll have to tune in next time to find it, won't you? Anyway, looking at it here, no new stuff, although Lenglet signs a new contract. That's what we want to hear. DJ's had a good week in training. I had a word with him earlier on in today's episode about his training. He's now decided, you know what, boss? I'm sorry. I'm going to book my ideas up, and he's done the business for us, which is good to see. Kurzawa would be an interesting one. Not a massive amount of money wanted for him. He could be a good backup left-back. You know, if we were to move on Moreno or Mendy, he could be a pretty good player to bring in. Toussaint is happy to stay at the club. Excellent. You've still got 3 years left of your current contract. You're not going to be leaving, I'm afraid. You're here forever. It's that Mr. Burns kind of picture, you know, from The Simpsons. Don't forget you're here forever. That's kind of how I feel about our players. Anyway, have we had a youth intake? We have not, although we're not on the 3rd of May yet. We'll go forward that last day. But I can tell you now, we're going to have it next episode. Traore's unhappy that we've not tried to sell him. Mate, I've offered you out quite a lot. Don't be like this. Please. I mean, I'll offer you out again. Anyone want him? I know it's the middle of March and everyone's transfer window has been closed for a little while. But if you're interested, he's available. Anyway, we're going to save this game for next time. It's going to be Champions League action, Juventus versus ourselves. We've also got games against PSG. We'll also have a youth intake, so tomorrow's episode is going to be a corker. Hopefully I will see you guys for it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do drop a like on it. I will see you again soon. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.